All right. Hi guys. It's Eric. I'm gonna go through some stuff on this truck. Basically, the design, all that stuff. So we're gonna take a dive in, all right? Okay. So the Fish RC skid, the reason why I designed it for it is because the screws for the links go through there. That's what these slots are for. So you can take the links off of the vehicle without having to take the screws off, because most they'll be like, oh, you need to take this screw out to take this grub screw out and all of that. So that's the reason behind that design. Now, my shock setup is Mini T and Drivetech Springs. The front has an 8mm limiter inside, pushing the piston from full extension, but yet the weight kind of, the chassis doesn't weigh much, but it's kind of like a half droop kind of, or something like that. And then in the rear, we have the Drivetech springs, and we have a pen spring that's pulling the rear down, because I didn't know with the links on this, with how long the rear links are, if I was going to need a sway bar, and I didn't want to put a sway bar on it. So I thought that pen springs would kind of help with a sway control, but so far so good. It works really well, but I think that you don't need to do a pen spring mod or something. But if you want to limit shocks or whatever, you can. Now, where it gets to the point where shock links go, 100mm will work, but I usually would recommend that that's like a droop with a penton spring on the inside, so that you have a limiter to limit some of that to about maybe a 90-97. And these are, I think, 97mm, and then they're limited 8, so they're like an 89. So even 80mm shocks will work really good on here. I mean, obviously I'm like way in on the upper far in hole, but this is a 13-inch wheelbase. And then I know that some of you guys were asking about the links. The links are just, I made some of them. These are just Capra upper links with the kick rod end, and then that. And the lower links measure, hold on, I gotta find my piece of paper here. The lower links measure 4¼ inches from center of ball to center of ball on the rod ends. The front uppers are 3¾ inches, but you can make them longer. Obviously, I'm in the farthest out middle hole on the front. Gonna mess around with it, see what it does. The rear lowers are 6¼ inches, and then the uppers, which I have a super shafty link riser, so I don't know, because some guys might want to run on the original link mounts for the Capra. Up to you. That upper link is 6 inches. So yeah, it's a little bit longer, and then obviously the skid is moved about an inch to 3/4 inch forward from center. Depends on how you really want to set it up with, how you want to use it. I mean, you could probably do shorter links in the front, and then you could do longer links in the rear. I don't know how that would react. I think that this is like a good middle ground. You don't want to go too long and then have like T-Rex arms up front. And then another thing that there was a question about was like drive shafts. So this is a deluxe portal trans, but these are the Wraith or RR10 Bomber. This is the Bomber drive shafts from their like little drive shaft parts kit. So I had to get that because, yeah, there was nothing else that was long enough. I mean, I could have gotten the deluxe shafts, but nah. And then the reason why I'm not going to go and make links is because everybody wants to set stuff up their own way, and I don't want to say, oh, I got to have this amount of links for this wheelbase and this wheelbase and this wheelbase and this wheelbase. It's just way too much overhead for me to have. And then, I mean, obviously I've drilled this skid because, yeah, I had to fit another trans in it. But this is a Fish RC skid, and it was for the deluxe hamburger. And and it's just a high clearance flat belly skid. I believe that this one is originally designed for Corrupt Carbon Works because of where the link geometry triangulation is, but except it's flipped around for my geometry that I designed it for, so it's opposite. I don't want to have a bunch of skids with different transmission mounting holes in them and have a bunch of stock, so that is why I won't provide that. And it's that scenario of somebody orders and they want it for a two-low trans or a hamburger trans or the portal trans or a skinny trans or a 3-gear trans or a Capra, or I don't know what else is out there, Salinas, stuff like that. But Salinas already has its own skid, but that skid works on this as well. So you can use a stock SCX10 one. You're gonna have to trim it a little bit because I know that there's mounting holes that are 1.5 inches apart on those frames. But at that point, you're better off just getting a flat belly. You can get them from Vader. I think In the Works RC has them. Fish Crawler RC, which is my favorite. They're just a 3D printed one, but they're 3D printed, I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think it's a P12 plastic. It's really hard. Apparently they're printing motor on axles with great success. So, and those guys are running 2.2, so they got a little bit more stress on their drivetrain. But yeah, that's the gist of it right now. That information I have for you. If you have any other questions, like I've said, I try to answer as fast as I can, and yeah, I'm trying to let everybody know like information on this, because I know it's a completely new breed compared to like what other people are putting out, where most of them are like, oh, well, we built it to be a low CG belly dragger chassis, but it also can be used in like comps, which this is Sorca legal, but I'm not about that comp life. I'm about just having fun with the guys and challenging yourself. So that's what this is built for. It's for the F of it rig. And that's it. So if you guys got any questions or anything else that I can clarify for you, let me know. I'm probably just rambling on, and I'm just messing around with this truck over here. So, but yeah, this is I think that's ride height. That's full squish. That's drooped out. So that's about, yeah, it's pretty tall. Anyways, I'll get out of here and post this video. Thanks for the support, and thanks for just being a hobbyist of the RC crawler type. Thanks, bye.